Mr. Caldwell, let's talk about the Canadian economy. What do you see as the biggest challenges in our economy right now?
Leadership and the lack thereof. Canada is really, in some ways, we're not even a country. You look at what we're going through now in energy, for example. In Asia, for example, Canada should have liquid natural gas plants in the west and the east coast to supply China and replace coal, and again, on the east coast to supply Germany and the rest of Europe. We always miss the game because either governments address special interests or regional interests to the detriment of economic growth. If you're a leader wanting everybody to like you, you're not going to be much of a leader. We have to make decisions for economic growth, job creation, innovation, and we're not. We're running around dealing with issues that everybody thinks is important, but those issues seem to be a lot less important now with this Ukraine mess on our hands.
Absolutely. You're talking to the choir, because I believe that we could have our clean liquefied natural gas to market and help China and India come off coal, and we could have prosperity here, and we could have a cleaner planet. So I'm right there with you. Mr. Caldwell, there's lots of talk about businesses leaving Canada and not growing here. What are you seeing?
I have said many times in the past, Canada is a wonderful country to start a business. We have an educated, keen workforce, innovative, but it's not a great company to build a business. And we almost have an anti-business skew, or not even a benign neglect, a hostile neglect. We regulate our companies, our new companies out of existence. We introduce barriers, and we all have these little side rules. Our economy is too small to have barriers between provinces. So in actual fact, companies will say, where's the biggest market? Well, the biggest market is in the United States. And we've had a lot of champion companies like BlackBerry, Nortel, Mitel, the original. They've ceased to exist because we don't seem to be able to think in bigger world scale terms. I've traveled the world. I own 37 exchanges around the world. And I would be in places like Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, all over the place. And I'd never run into Canadians trying to do business internationally. And we have lots of assets, capital that people really appreciate about Canadians. And we don't benefit from it. I don't think our governments have been thinking these ways. And we address too many special interest groups who are aggrieved and feel they've been offended by something or other, or provinces that don't want to have a pipeline go across their province. We got to be a country at some point. The world is too tough a place to be playing those silly bear games.
Yeah, and we certainly see Canadian innovation moving to the United States or offshore, and our great innovation becomes another country's success story. But
Absolutely.
There's also much talk about investment not only leaving Canada, but not coming to Canada. Why, and how do we change this?
Well, I think not coming is an interesting one because, we had just-in-time deliveries, automobile parts going across the border. Our American cousins are quite protectionist, they will thicken that border up if they feel for example, we pay a duty on lumber going into the States. The Russians don't pay duty on any lumber going. What's wrong with this picture? And I think Canada is seen as kind of hostile to business. For example, you have the Trans Mountain Pipeline to ship oil to the West Coast. We've had so many objections to that from Indigenous groups, environmental groups, et cetera. The original cost was $7 billion. Just with those legal delays, it's now $27 billion. You're having sabotage on projects like this. We've got to get over that stuff because people say, wait a second, too many problems up there. And you don't have a government that's really supportive of industry and economic growth. And listen, I'm conscious of social stuff big time, as much as anybody else, and environment as well. But we haven't had a balance. We've leaned too far into the social issues and not enough building for the next generation or two.
Yeah, and certainly if you don't have a strong economy and strong businesses and jobs, then you don't have the social programs that come from jobs and a tax base and companies coming here. So it really is a lose-lose, and you bring up a very important point. But we're going to go to break right now, and when we get back, we're going to put you on the hot seat, Mr. Caldwell, and we're going to ask you, if you're a politician, what you would do. So don't go away. We're going to be right back on Canadian Innovators.